everyone, welcome back to another video. Yoo-hoo! My mouth ulcer is away so I can actually talk properly, so I'm so thankful that it is gone, but oh my goodness, that was so painful. So this is the set that I'm going to create in today's video, and this is the set that I'm taking off. But just before I move on, I just want to go through just a few things with this set because I got quite a few comments about the nails being too wide and you know, the no C curve on them. So I just wanted to show you that look, my nails are well within the sidewalls of my own nails. I have my apex in the correct place, and yes, there's no C curve to these nails, but I'm not the only one that does this. So here is a picture of quite a few girls that have absolutely no C curve at all. These are completely flat. So this is a new shape that's popping up. So it's just something that I wanted to start to experiment with, and I absolutely love it. I just think that it is such a really nice shape. It's really easy to work with, and I just love it. I know it's not a shape that everyone is going to love. I mean, there's some shapes out there that I don't love, but I just wanted to say, I deliberately did this shape of nails because I was trying to just recreate some different nail shapes that I have seen popping up on Pinterest and Instagram absolutely everywhere. There's all these new extra long nail tips coming out which are completely straight. They have really high C curves, but they are starting to bring them out now with this really low C curve, which is the look that I have sculpted. So I am going to go get started into this video now. So as you can see, I'm using my 5-in-1 e-file bit, and I'm just going to remove all of that nail art, and then I'll remove any lifting with the very tip of that e-file bit. So I'm not going to show all the nail art being taken off on every single nail because they're all done in exactly the same way. So I'm going to pick 1 or 2 nails, and I'm going to show you the whole procedure from taking off the nail art, cutting away any of the lifting that there might be there, and how I go ahead and prep and remove any cuticle. So on this particular set, I can't remember whether this is the second or the third infill that I've done on this. So I'm going to take them more or less right back. I'm going to reduce that apex right down, just flatten it out, and then I'm going to do a rebalance on these nails as well. So you can see there just on the middle finger that I was just taking that apex away so that I can just bring it back just ever so slightly because it has moved just as the nails have been growing. So now that I've got all the nail art off, I'm just going to remove any of the dust, and I'm going to go back in with that fine e-file, 5-in-1 e-file bit, just to cut away any lifting. So my 2 pinkies both have arthritis in them, so I do get quite a bit of lifting on my pinky fingers especially. So this is why these e-file, these 5-in-1 bits are absolutely amazing for this, girls. This is the fine one, and honestly, this will cut down your nail service time easily by 30 minutes if you're doing any rebalances or any infills, especially in clients that will lift. So I have been using these 5-in-1 e-file bits probably going on a year now, and you all know I absolutely love them. So I'm just going to give you a little sneaky hint of just watch this space. So I've removed the dust again, and now I'm going to go in with my hand file just tidy up the free edge. I'm going to just blend in the rest of that acrylic, and then I'm going to continue with the prep of my nails with my cuticle work. So another dust off before I go in and do my cuticle work. So I've buffed in all the rest of that acrylic, and I'm now going to go in with my e-file cuticle bit, which you can see at the top left hand of the screen. So I'm going to reduce my e-file down to around 4,000 RPMs. I'm going very, very lightly, no pressure at all. Really what I'm doing is I'm going under the cuticle area and down the sidewalls just to remove any of that true cuticle that has attached itself to the nail plate. That's what we want to remove when we're doing any of our prep work, because that is what's going to stop your nails from lifting. You also have to remember not to keep going over the same area, because this part of the nail plate is still very, very soft, and it's very, very easily damaged and very easily thinned out. So again, another dust off, and I'm going in now with my diamond e-file bit. So I am going to do this to remove any of that dead skin and excess cuticle as well. So it is a diamond bit, so it is safe to go over the skin and remove any of that cuticle. You're not going to cut your clamp with them. This is very, very similar to the little ball e-file bits that you get, but I personally prefer using it like this rather than the little ball. It's just personal preference, and they both do exactly the same job. So another quick dust, and I'm going to give them a wipe over with some alcohol just to remove any of that dust and debris before I go in with my little cuticle nippers and nip away just any bits that I've missed. So now that all my prep has all been done, I'm going to go ahead and start to apply the products. So of course I'm going to be using Glitterbels in this video, because you all know how much I absolutely love Glitterbels. So I'm getting in here with the dehydrator just to pull out any excess oils that may be on my nail plate, and then I'll go in with the primer. So because they are infills and rebalance, I'm only applying it to the natural nail, and I'm not carrying it down over the rest of the acrylic. So before I go ahead and add any acrylic, on my ring finger I'm going to go in with this Unbelievable gel in the colour Blue Avenue, and I'm going to use these custom made decals from Wolfie's nail water decals. They are absolutely amazing. I was able to send her a picture and ask Kaylee was she able to do them for me, and she did, and they are absolutely fab. So I thought it would be nicer to put this pale blue background against the darker colour of the Dior. So I'm doing this part first, because the top part of the nail up at the cuticle is going to be an ombre. So I will go ahead and I'll put all the links to Wolfie's water decals in the description box, and that will take you directly to her social media pages. I'm just blending out the line. I didn't want a really, you know, sharp finish to that blue gel. I just wanted to have it really soft so that whenever I go over with my acrylic, you're not going to see any harsh lines whenever I go to do my ombre. I think it's great the way you get basically the whole sheet of the image that you want. It means that if you've got really long nails, mine were quite short compared to what they normally would be. I know they probably look long, but because they've been infilled a few times, I take down the length because you do lose your shape ever so slightly whenever you're doing other people's nails. So to use these decals, you just cut out the size that you need, pop it into water for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then lift it out, drain out any of the water. What I'm doing here, I'm just removing the shine off that Unbelievable gel. It does cure with a non-tacky layer, so you don't need to put a top coat on if you're doing nail art. I would if you're doing it as a full colour over acrylic, but if you're just doing it as a nail art, no, I wouldn't bother putting any top coat over it. So I'm just lifting out that water decal, and I've laid it on my little paper towel. I'm going to just draining out all that excess, as you can see, and then just slide it with your thumb, and you can see it just slide off the back of that paper, and then just place it on the nail wherever you want it to go. I'm just pressing it with my fingers here just to make sure that it's completely level and lying flat on my nail. And then I'm just going to take the side of my nail file and just go down the sides of the nails and the free edge, and that's going to cut it off nice and clean for me rather than just start to have to go in with your scissors. So I will be going over the top of this with the Tinkerbell cover to do the ombre, and then on the bottom part of the nail I will go over this with glass slippers just to make sure that it's sealed. I'm reapplying the dehydrator and the primer to my ring finger only because I brought that gel polish right up over the nail plate, and then I wiped it off again. So I'm just making sure that everything is all prepped and primed again, ready to get the acrylic put on. So I'm using Tinkerbell cover, which I absolutely love. So the bottom part of my nail, the free edge part of my nail, is actually Nude Panther from Not Polish. And then I have infilled it with the Tinkerbell cover, and I honestly cannot tell the difference. They are practically identical. So I'm using my size 16 brush, which I absolutely love. I really don't think I could go back to using a smaller brush. And one of these days I will get brave enough to go up even bigger. But I absolutely love it, especially if you're doing long nails. It cuts down your working time, you can pick up bigger beads, and for me, I just find it so much easier to work with. And also, I'm going to keep this part of the video in real time so you can see my acrylic application as I do it. Once it's cured and I go into my filing routine, I am going to speed it back up just to keep the length of the video down. I didn't know whether you could see it there in the video, but there was a tiny bit of fluff, so I'm just going to try and poke it out with my tweezers, and then I'll fill it back in with the acrylic. Just because this part of the nail is going to be on show, I didn't want any imperfections at all. So I took down all my apexes, so I need to go in and replace them. So I'm placing it just where my natural nail bed would start to end, and I'm just going to feather it back towards the cuticle area, but I'm going to keep the bulk of it right at my apex. Onto the ring finger now, and this is the ombre that I'm going to do over that Dior water decal. So I'm placing the first bead just at the join, at the very end of that ombre, and I'm just going to push and pat it into place and then just blend it in over that decal. In with my cuticle bead now, and I've got my finger pointed downwards. You may not be able to see it properly on the video, but it is pointed downwards. So I've placed it just before the cuticle. I've held it there for a few seconds, and now I'm just patting and pushing it into place. I nearly got that out there. Onto the middle finger now, and I'm going in with quite a large bead, and I'm going to place it again just before my cuticle, and I'm just going to push it into place. Again, I've got my finger pointed downwards just to let gravity do its thing, and then I will go in and do another bead and just build up my apex once more. So this one, Tinkerbell Cover, is my absolute favourite core powder from Glitterbels. I just love it. I use it on most of my sets. It's just so easy to work with. It's such a universal colour. It goes with so many different skin types, and I just absolutely love it. I'm going to let you watch the rest of the acrylic being applied, and I'll come back just whenever we go to start, or whenever I start to go and do any of the nail art. So to keep the length of the video down, I went ahead and I did all the filing and shaping off camera, and now I'm getting in with that unbelievable gel from Glitterbels in the shade Blue Avenue, and I'm just going to hand draw out just that little logo that's on the ring finger, and I'm just going to do a single Dior diagonally across that nail. Again, to keep the length of the video down, I have put this part of the video on double speed, and just because when I am doing any hand-drawn nail art, it does take that little bit longer, and I never like the videos to be too long for you. So once I have Dior painted on the nails, before I put it into my lamp, I'm going to give it the sugar effect just by putting some clear acrylic over it, and then I'll pop it in the lamp and cure it for the full time. So again, even though I have it on double speed, it still can take a little bit of time, so I'm going to come back once I have done this word. Now that it's cured, I'm going to give it a quick dust over with my dusting brush, and then I'm going to move on to the little finger. So I am going to do Dior again, but instead of doing it across the nail, I'm going to do it vertically, and I will finish it off by doing the little sugar effect as well. And of course I will come back at the end of it, because even though it's speeded up, it still takes forever. So moving on now to the pointer finger, and I'm going in with my striping brush. This particular striping brush is 25mm. I absolutely love it. It comes in a set of 3. So I'm going to use it to do a chevron design. with the Blue Avenue, and then I'm going to fill in each side. Again, before I go ahead and cure it, I'm going to go in with some of the Glitterbels loose glitter. So this is fairy dust, and I'm just going to pour it over the Blue Avenue just to give it a little shimmer effect whenever I put the top coat on. Oh, it's so pretty. I just hope you can see this on the camera. It really doesn't do it justice. It is so beautiful in real life, even if you leave it matte like this, but when you put your top coat over it, it just kind of softens everything and it just gives it this really, really gorgeous twinkle. It's so nice. So moving on to the thumb, and I'm going back in with my striping brush, and instead of doing the chevron design, I'm going to go in and just do some diagonal lines, and then I'll pop some of that fairy dust over it before I cure it. So I got these really pretty holographic, oh there's the tractor, I got these really pretty holographic butterflies, and I just thought they would go perfect with this set because the blue is nice and pale. I just think that it's got a really good contrast, and I'm also going to use some of the CJP ones as well. For some reason the blue ones aren't as fragile as the orange ones, because as soon as you start to peel them back they just come right off. So once I've got the butterflies on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply my top coat. I'm going for the glossy look. So even though the sugared ones, the Dior words, even though they've been sugared, once I put the top coat of them over them, it will still give it like a 3D effect. And then before I cure my top coat, I'm going to pop on some rhinestones. So these are the little rhinestones I'm going to put on. I can't remember the colour of them, but I will, once I find out, I'll pop them in the description box below. They are so pretty, and again, I hope you can see it on the camera. They just glisten so well. So the fingers that has the Dior logo on them, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a cuff of those little rhinestones. And here is the finished set, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up. And for those of you who are new to my channel and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, you could go ahead, help support me by hitting that button now. And I will be back with another video. So take care. See you soon. Bye.